Welcome along to Man in the Mirror. I'm here with Pierre Ravan, who is a brand founder. He's a DJ, he's a producer, he's a spiritual coach, and he's a good friend of mine that I've seen at a few events over the last year, and we've really connected over all his various interests. And it's a pleasure to see you this morning. Pierre, are you in Paris?
Yes, Hayden, good to see you again. Yes, I'm in Paris. The city is Paris, but the heat can be a very big summertime heat.
Yeah, it feels it's similar in London, I have to say. It's mid-June and feels like we're in the middle of a heat wave, which we shouldn't complain about, but certainly in London, I don't feel like we're set up for it in the slightest. But look, thank you so much for doing Man in the Mirror. As I said, we've had the chance to meet. We met in London earlier this year, and we've fortuitously ran into each other in Paris, I think, and then Milan a few weeks ago at Aix-en-Provence. I had the great pleasure of seeing Pierre DJ on the roof at the hotel, and he has this, all these different disciplines going on, which I find fascinating, and I'm sure it all feeds into the work you do. So if I could, I mentioned the various things you do, but do you think all of your different disciplines feed into Eternal Journey and feed into the perfumes?
Thank you, Hayden. First, I am very honored that you have willingly been part with the flow, and I could share my experience with you. And this is what I feel should be the future of humanity. Connection. You connect with people. And somebody like you who are very professional and been there for such a long time, you have this, we call it the discernment to say, wow, there is something which I feel. And just to answer to your question about all the ethos of the brand, which is first luxury, then obviously wellness and well-being and music, the amazing part is that all of this is who I am, truly.
Yeah.
Means I've been in luxury business for a long time. I'm a yoga and meditation trainer for the past 26 years, and I'm DJing for the past 35 years. And to be honest, I have only one word to give an answer. All of them is the art of the heart. When you write heart, you have the ART, because art is all that comes from your heart. And regardless, maybe being a painting, it's all connected to this potentiality that you have. And if you will be able to express it and put it in what better than a perfume, then this is where we want people to come and experience, which partially you did.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's fascinating. So for you, they're all elements of the same thing, which is about connecting and bringing out emotion. And so you talked about being a DJ, Pierre, and so I got to see you in action. But your history is, you've played in some of the biggest clubs in the world, haven't you?
I was even in UK now, because you might have a UK audience. I was one of the first DJ when Ministry of Sound opened back in 1991, which was an institution at the time, Ministry of Sound. It was a ministry.
Yeah.
And I remember DJing there, and I was fascinated because they didn't have an alcohol license, and everybody was buying a bottle of water. And I remember it was written H2O. People would pay like £3. You wouldn't pay even for a glass of champagne so much. And they made their money. But obviously that was the era. And I was very fortunate, and because I traveled a lot to India and also to UAE, and by all means, I was DJing in Pasha and Ibiza. For me, it was an amazing, because, you can see all this versatile, multicultural people, and you give that music, and you can see if you touch everybody's heart, regardless of their gender, nationalities, religion, then you say, you know what, you're on a good track because you touch the heart, which is colorless, nationality-less.
You're right.
It's
that universality, isn't it? It's, you don't, as you say, you don't need to understand anyone or understand their language, but if the music gets you and you can get on the dance floor or just sit back and take it all in, it's an amazing thing. Yeah. And what I saw in Milan was fascinating in terms of this multidisciplinary, multi-art form approach, because you were playing this very sort of spiritual, really chilled kind of house sound, but lots of people were coming up, and you were chatting, seemed very happy to talk to people as you were doing it, but also I guess it was a way to introduce Eternal Journey and the perfumes to people via music. Do you find that those two things work well together?
Yeah, 100%. But not to mention, I don't know if you knew that even at those period of time, I was doing a yoga meditation at 7:30 in the morning.
Oh,
Means,
that's right. You did that. That's right. I did. Yeah,
in the
I
same
wasn't
place that
up.
you came, imagine early morning. But if you remember, we were, I wouldn't say unlucky, but that 4 days was a very rainy time. I
It
mean,
was quite odd, wasn't
everything
it?
before and after.
Yeah.
But even by the rain, I kept the discipline. And every morning by 7:30, we were starting my yoga meditation. Because you see, our life is a journey, right? I wanted people to
Mm,
wake up. You're already up. You connect, you feed your soul and your heart. They went to the exhibition, and now it's time. They wanted, the soul to kind of move and get vitalized by the music. And as you said, I had in my DJ booth the perfume set. And when
yeah.
I was playing a track, if somebody was coming, I said, close your eyes, listen to the beat. Now smell this. Tell me, what do you feel? And the person, while smelling the smell, said, oh my God. And with the sound, you're activating a places that usually you wouldn't get
Yeah.
there because
Yeah.
the music takes you there. Because ultimately, a good
Absolutely.
music connects you to a deeper level, right?
Mm,
And then the smell, it's all also about deeper level. Then you give them the experience right
yeah.
away.
Well, you're absolutely right, and I've talked about this before on the podcast. But the brilliant thing with music is, and in connection with fragrance, is that it cuts through some of the problems we have sometimes with perfume vocabulary and language.
Yeah.
If you can talk about your emotions and scent through what you're experiencing and what you're hearing, it's often an easier way in. So that, yeah, even for you, just to talk to people about, how are you experiencing this? What are you smelling? How is it connecting to the music? That feels like such a more welcoming and sort of inviting way to begin that conversation about fragrance, where sometimes just talking to people randomly about a fragrance note or, vetiver or incense or something can sometimes feel a little bit colder. Whereas come into my world, come and feel what I'm, what are your emotions, and feel the heart,
Exactly.
feel the things that I'm giving out, the vibrations through music and through fragrance. I can totally see how that works and why the brand is successful.
And look, and imagine, I give you an example. It happened to many of our listener or yourself that, when sometimes you hear the music and you say, oh my God, that brings me a lot of memories. The same
Yeah.
thing you might smell, you smell something from your mom or something when you grandma or
Yeah.
somewhere and then experience even the baguette smell. I mean, forget
Mm.
about it. Now is a big fashion, as you know, they do a lot
All the
of
gourmands
perfume,
and
like
yeah.
and you come and say, oh my God, it clicks. Now imagine you bring all this together, means you hear the music and then the smell, means what we say spiritually, you're activating the olfactive memories of
Mm.
people. And regardless, if somebody is not a perfume expert, you are, many are, but somebody might not know, okay, amber, what is amber? What is
Yeah, exactly.
ambroxanite?
Yeah.
What is patchouli a word, or is, everybody talk about patchouli? How many people, guys, who you all are listening to this beautiful podcast, how many of you know what patchouli is? Or amber, what is the ambergris? All
Yeah.
of this, it's okay. But for some people, they might say, okay, you know what? That's fine, but I want to know if this are taking me on a journey. Now, when then you like it, then you can go deeper and find out what exactly the
Exactly.
ingredients are.
Yeah.
That
Well,
makes sense to you?
it really
Yeah.
does, and it's a perfect segue, Pierre,
Yeah.
because I see you've got some of the fragrances there, and I know in the first two collections there's an inner journey and an outer journey. So
Yeah.
maybe for people who are not so familiar with the Eternal Journey range, talk to me a little bit about how you've approached it and how you've put it into two trios of fragrances.
Look, one thing is I want everybody to understand before we get to the perfume. We are leading towards simplicity and purity, right? I'm
Mm.
sure everybody agree with me. Whatever guys you believe is, we are going towards simplicity and purity because
Well,
we
in that people
came.
want that in their lives, you think?
Yeah, and we come from simplicity and purity. Then, of course, things get a little bit complicated because that's how we are. But nature will always take some because nature is simple and pure, right, guys? I mean, again, regardless of whatever belief, we want to transcend all of that to come back to the roots. Now, when I created the brand Eternal Journey, as you can see, it's a full circle and ENJ because I believe circle represent the wholeness, right? And
Yeah.
I believe in one thing. This is my personal belief: is the universe come from infinity, as you see, and it will go towards infinity. That's why in a Chinese medicine, or you talk about yin and yang. What that yin and yang mean? It's all about the infinity science. Einstein talk about it.
Yeah.
Now, as you mentioned, I believe every human being has two journey. We have an outer journey. Outer journey means what? We as a human being, we are made based on a solar and lunar cycle. This is the nature, guys. This is a science. That's why we have two nostrils. Otherwise, God was not a fool. He could have made it one hole like other places. You know what I'm talking? We have two. Why? Because the way we breathe, which nostril is connected with which side of the brain? Again, science. And for us, nature wants us to be active during the day, wants us to calm down during the night. That's why every nostril, guys, please observe. Sometimes it's good to be aware of yourself. Observe sometimes, close your eyes and say, Hayden or Pierre, I feel I have my right nostril more dominant or the left one. That's how then you know which space you are. I give you an example before getting to this auto journey.
Sure.
As a coach, I coach a lot of kids who have panic attack. And the first thing before prescribing them antidepressant, which in US, they call it pain management. Like they love to give you on, and then you get the problem even more dumb. We tell them, keep your right nostril and breathe brutally with your left nostril 10 times. Immediately your panic attack goes. Why? Science. Because the left nostril is connected to the parasympathetic system of the human being. It brings you down.
It calms you down.
Now, this is a science, right? To go back, I created that human being has two journeys. You have your outer journey, means you wake up by the sunrise, you go to work, you do whatever you need to do. By sunset, you come back home, you do whatever you need to do. Then in the night, you sleep, you wake up. Means we are linked on the 24-hour cycle.
Yeah.
That's why my first collection, I call it a 24 hours.
Yeah.
The first product is sunrise. The second one is sunset. The third one is midnight. Each ingredients are based on the journey. Having said that, all the journey can be together. And as you said, we have the other journey. What is the other journey every human being has? Look, guys, when somebody congratulated your mother, said, Madam, congratulations, you are truly pregnant, is when they find out, they hear the boom, boom, boom. What is it? A tiny dot, which is the very first organ that human body creates, is the heart. That's why everybody starts by the heart. That's why in my new collection, I call it the inner journey or the 3H collection. We start by the heart. It's gold, it's pure. You know, when we talk about gold, it represents purity. It's gold. The heart is where it pumps happiness, joy, even the freshness, health. Then when you are in your heart, what it creates, if you have a pure heart, it creates a harmony. It's very white, the balance. H2. And ultimately, when you are centered in your heart, when you created that harmony, what is the end result that even animals unconsciously seek for is happiness. Yeah. That's why these two elements, now imagine, is a balance of these two elements which comes. And this is part of our life.
Oh, that's fantastic. I love the way you explain it. And in terms of the fragrances themselves, I mean, they're beautiful creations. And as you say, you know, you could approach the outer journey and that you wear them at different stages of the day, but it might well be that you just find one of those fragrances that you absolutely love and it becomes something that you wear a bit more regularly. I think I really enjoyed sunset to midnight with that myrrh and incense.
The most unique. And it's again, beautiful. It's myrrh and incense, but it's a frankincense. And you know, guys, frankincense, we call it a boswellia. Boswellia, it's the root. Now, it's good that you know, but boswellia, the most quality one is Boswellia sacra. Boswellia sacra is a tree which comes from Oman. Like if you guys might know about frankincense, you know, like brand like Amouage, some of them, a lot of Oman luxury use those because they are from Oman. It's a very rare tree, not even in Oman. And it's an end cut, not the first cut, which go to the green resin, which we call it hojari.
So they have to tap the trees, don't they?
They tap the tree and go so... It's so pure that you can chew it, or you can put it even it's proven anti-cancerous. You can put it in the night into the water. It dissolves in the morning. You drink that water, and it's so expensive because it's rare. I have that in the one that you love, but
that's beautiful.
To not give the sense of very much spiritual, we counterfeited with this aphrodisiac and warmer, which I put a little bit of marshmallow, a little bit of rum, and of course, and ambroxan. It means imagine again. The yin and the yang. You're spiritual, but also you need to have this sensuality at the same time.
Yeah, because it's about that time of the day where fun,
Exactly.
maybe you have dinner or you're going out and fun things are going to happen, aren't they? It feels
And
enveloping.
you mentioned something very interesting, Hayden. You see, the formulation are made by the journey, but I have to tell you, you totally touched about something which is correct. Sometimes in the night, I really need something more fresh, something to give you a higher kick. I use the sunrise one.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it
There's no
has
rules.
this very, not only neroli, it has the petit grain with the vetiver and the pink pepper. And this combination is amazing because the freshness is there, but the petit grain gives us this quality of keeping this woody side. And I love that in the night. Means it's all about the preference of everyone. But
Yeah.
I use the 3-1 on the first collection together because I feel the mix is magic.
And you mentioned to me before about the perfumers that you use for Eternal Journey, and you've stayed quite loyal to 2 different perfumers. Is that right?
Yeah, you see, one thing is very important. Perfumer, we are 3 perfumer. The main perfumer is Hamid, and the other one is Ilyas and myself. They are the people who've been in my journey from beginning. And when you create, I give you an example. When you create a product, why we don't use the word unisex anymore? Did any of you guys thought why we call the word gender fluid? Why people don't use unisex? A lot of people say, come on, it's the same thing. It's not. Because the intention in anything in life matters. You as a perfumer, if you say, I'm going to create a unisex perfume, you are already conditioning yourself. I'm making something for a man. I'm making something for a woman, right? But when you say I'm creating, then it's flowing. And it took me a long time to bring these 2 perfumers on board with me.
So
and because
take those labels off is what you're saying.
And you grow. And all of my product is like gender fluid. And for me, it's important that I work with the same people who've been on the journey because they already are part of this journey. And I feel the story builds with the parfumeur. The story doesn't relate to the parfumeur.
Yeah. It's interesting that you feel that the brand and the story of the perfume should sit above the perfumer. Yeah.
100%.
Makes sense.
But it's a teamwork, and the teamwork,
of course,
you need
you've
to
been
grow
loyal
together.
to the same perfumers because they understand your vision and what you want to do, I guess.
And they also evolve with you.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Yeah. Well, look, we're going to talk a bit more about Eternal Journey later, but as always on the show, I'm interested in your bathroom cabinet and maybe some of the products you use in your morning and evening routine, Pierre. What does your skincare and your wellness routine look like in terms of products? Are there certain things that you're loyal to that you like to use?
Actually, it's very important. To be honest, I as you can see on my ring, to be honest, I was never, I worked with, for example, La Prairie. The export director was my friend. And he did send me some, he said, Pierre,
that's some expensive stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, it is with caviar and all, okay? Because he gave it to me and I used them, but I am not, what I was saying is, it's not I wasn't conscious, but I was not very much bothered about, we need to wrinkle it all.
Your appearance.
I use a lot of sun because I DJ a lot of festivals. I'm getting all this thing. And to be honest, for me, 3 things was very, very important. One, because sometimes my beard grows, what to use to keep it not so frizzy. And to be honest,
good beard, Pierre.
I don't, it's not making a promotion for another brand, but I have to tell you, all of you, make a try. I got all this barber mix. None of them worked for me. I think it was very commercial because they needed an extra name to say, oh, you know what? Let's make a marketing. This is good for the beard. You know what was the best that I'm hooked to?
What do you use?
A very classical Nux. You know the Nux one?
Yes. Yeah. French brand, right?
The first one, which is for the head, for the skin, and for your hair. Now hair. And it's amazing.
Is it an oil?
It's an oil, but it's a dry oil. But you know what I love about? Every time I use that, I came up, everybody said, woo, we love your beard. It's shiny. Means it stayed the whole day. And when I was brushed, this for me, every morning after my shower, I have to put that because it keeps my beard a little bit intact and I love. And the smell, this is the other thing I want everybody to know. You have to be very careful. Whatever perfume you use, you have to understand what is the base. If you use something should be odorless, means a lot of even the beard product, even though the odorless, you can smell the grapes or something they use, like an almond thing. Doesn't go. For me, the Nux is it. So far, with my Eternal Journey product that I use, let's say in the morning, I use every morning Sunrise, is the best combination because it doesn't kill the olfactive of it.
Right. Yeah.
That's why I use that. And of course, I have one deodorant that I use a lot and I love it. It's they just launched it because they sent it to me. It's a 96 hours. You remember we had the 24 hours, then we had the 48. Now we have a 90.
Now we're supposed to use it once every 4 days or something.
Yeah, but let be honest. I use it every day, but I liked it because the formulation again is very odorless and is very.
What's the name of this one, Pierre?
Is it latest Vichy? It just came out.
Oh, Vichy,
of the brand Vichy from France, and it's very natural. I like it because we have and obviously everybody will talk about I have this shower gel, I have that. You will be amazed. I tried everything, and I love something which again it gives you a little bit of the hydration that you come on the shower, but at the same time it's odorless. And there is one brand which because I was DJing in Ibiza in the place Ushfaya, and they give me a sec, and I say, is this like commercial stuff? Amazing! I travel with it. I can find it here in the supermarket. Means very simple thing. And at the end of the day, it's not guys about the brand. It's about what you feel. I feel good with it, and this is what you. Can be expensive. It can be very not expensive.
Yeah. And do you wear SPF, Pierre? You say because you're outdoors.
To be honest,
put something on your head.
Yeah, I should do that. I mean, yesterday I had some gig here. We did a small launching in close to Paris because it was. Yesterday was the International Day of Music and International Day of Yoga. And by the way, Happy Father's Day to all the fathers. It was the Father's Day. And then I was invited to do a yoga gig and then do a DJ set and introduce Eternal Journey. And I was by the pool. And to be honest, I did a mistake and I didn't put any protection. But then I realized my wife was saying, wait a minute, I can see from this morning that you left, you have all these fakes. And then I realized that this is not about the cosmetic anymore. It's about the health. Guys, you should look after your health. And thank you for reminding me this FT thing you have to put out.
It's only because I was very late to it too, but now I'm quite religious about SPF just because I think I'm receding a bit and I need it on my head. So
thank you for a good reminder.
You're welcome. So tell me when your interest in fragrance began, Pierre. Was it always something you enjoyed as a younger man?
Yeah, it's a very funny story. When I was younger, my father was an ambassador, and because he was a diplomat, we were traveling everywhere. And
you grew up in lots of different countries.
Yeah, most of them from when I was 2 years old. And the funny part was that my mom loved, like everybody tell you the story, but fragrance was always part of our lives, right? Like because you travel, that was the best gift. Then you had royal family coming, that family coming, and always perfume played a very important role. But as interesting is, I'm a mechanical engineer, and I got my PhD to go to the MIT. And at the same time, because I was a DJing and producing music, it was, again, the funny story was I had to go study big time in engineering school. I was DJing when I was 12, 13 already in the school because everybody loved like a private party. And I had a passion towards perfume. And then in 1994, I realized that, for example, I give you how I started in Czech Republic. Because I also grew up there. Prague, by the way, guys, you love the place. You never been in Prague?
Yeah, I have. It's gorgeous.
And in 1989, it was a revolution. 40 years of this communism. The country opened up. And because I grew up there, everybody said, you know what? Let's do something there. I opened a Hermes shop because I was very close to the Hermes family.
Oh, wow.
And Monsieur Jean-Louis Dumas, I'm talking about the fashion Hermes. The Hermes. And when I opened a boutique there, he said, you know what? You're so elegant and smelly good. Do you want to represent Hermes perfume for Czech Republic? I said, why not? I was the first agent of Hermes perfume brand in the whole Eastern Europe. That was in back 1994. 1994, I was in the perfume industry. And I started as a distributor. Of course, I went to the Middle East. Means bottom line, what I wanted to explain you is, I started as a distributor and then I had my own retail. I did my homework.
Yeah.
Means I was the other side.
You've been there since the early days of
the niche. And when I saw the niche was growing up, I didn't start my own brand for a long time because, to be honest, I wanted to see the evolution of niche. And the evolution of the niche, if you compare what is today, forget about 15 years ago, even 10 years ago, is uncomparable, guys.
Well, the amount of brands and the amount of we were both in Milan, there's a huge amount of product released all the time, isn't there? And where do you see that going, Pierre? Someone who's been around for a while, what do you see the future of niche looking like?
To be honest with you, it was a very good business for a lot of people. That's why they started. Means, again, I go back to the intention. I would say 80%. I'm not secure 100%. 80% of the companies, they saw a business opportunity. They say, let's open a niche business. But then again, niche. What happened is you can go to a company, you can ask the best cap, the best glass, even the juice, as you know, you pay a very expensive perfumer, you use his name. But my point is this, that is this really niche? Is this really something that every molecule of the juice, which is invisible, has putting this breath of storytelling or not? And how I see it is that it started very niche, like remember Byredo. Byredo, if you talk to the owner, who I know personally, NBA professional basketball player, he never made Byredo to become a business. He made Byredo out of passion. He made two parfumeurs. The same was Le Labo. When they did it in the US, it was the concept. All of this brand never made a brand to make money. They made a brand because they want something different and unique. And the success happened. And what is happening now? Now everybody want to make money. That's why the brand is good.
So most people are jumping in, right?
Yeah, and the smells are good, guys. No criticism at all. All of them looks good. But where is the soul? Now, I see the future is my brand, like my brand, the pick is picking up very slowly. You see, I want everybody to know, because something which is long-term is like a relationship. It takes a time. Means it takes time to build, because the story is so profound. It's not commercial. It's like a music. You can make a EDM track and everybody likes it. You make a very quality deep house track, Afro track, and it might become a classic after 5 years, after
also,
10 years.
It's not going to be, it's okay if it's not for everyone, right? I think
100%.
The definition of niche being, it can be quite particular and it will find certain audiences, and that's okay too. It doesn't have to be a mass product, I think, for people to engage and understand what you're doing.
It is, but for me, my only concern are the people who are the front people, be it the shops, be it the department stores who are big. I feel the future should be that they have a staff, the purchasing manager, they have this discernment, the discrimination factor to say, you know what, I feel this brand has a potential, Instead of saying, show me, are you in TikTok? What? You don't have 2 million?
Yeah.
I tell them, did you smell the perfume? No. Did you touch the glass? No. I said, by why you looking at my TikTok? No. We love, you're a very passionate fellow, but you're not on TikTok. Yeah. You know what I'm getting with that.
It's kind of depressing, isn't it?
It is.
And also that pushed that you've got to have, you've got to have 10 different fragrances right from the start and ready to go. And it just feels like a bit of a sausage factory sometimes, just keep churning it out.
That's what patience needs to be there. Like I'm a co-founder of the brand. I'm an artistic director. I'm a soul behind the brand. But in the human level, as you say, you're frustrated because sometimes you feel you put a lot of love, energy, but some people might not get it. But the news is, for the people who are listening to the podcast, they started your brand. I don't know if you remember the same thing you asked on Rojadov, Mr. Rojadov, when he came for that niche exhibition with Valerie. You know what he said? He said, guys, stay truthful to your dream. Stay truthful to your storytelling. He was lucky, or he said, I was lucky, or I had an investor. It doesn't matter. If you go where the wind goes, then it's not you. All I want to say to everyone is, hang on there. It is difficult. Stay truthful to yourself. The only positive thing I feel is finding people like you, Hayden, or finding distributor. Create this egregore, a team, and everybody kind of help each other to bring the awareness of the brand up. And I think that is our collective duty.
Yeah. And is that how you go about choosing retail partners, distributors? It's very much people have got to understand
feel
the brand.
Look, I give you an example now. For example, you might ask me about Pierre in UK. for example, in UK, I have now one shop that I'm launching in Manchester, the Fraegra shop.
Oh yeah, with
But
Vesa.
you with Vesa, but the thing is, and before even Vesa come, when I met a team, Vesa, which I love, Bernie, who's work, the whole people behind the concept is, as soon they saw the brand and said, Pierre, this is it. And I said, but wait a minute. And he said, we fit. And
They
I
get it.
said,
They feel.
I said, am I dreaming? Or do we have so many good people in the market who understand this business? And of course, now I'm going to Manchester in July to give a training, but they are
Right.
on board. They said, you know what? Yes, Pierre, we also need commercial brand, but we need the brand with you because we know who's the man behind it. We know the story. We can hopefully be able to transmit the same energy to our client. And I think
And that's important,
that
isn't
is
it?
Yeah.
Because you need to go and talk to the team there, but having you as the focal point and the ambassador, they can learn from you and hopefully transmit that to the customers. But it is always very helpful if there's a person at the front who has the vision and can. I mean, you're a great
Definitely.
communicator, Pierre. So obviously that helps. But for a distributor or a retailer like Fraegra, it must be very beneficial to have someone like you who can kind of talk so eloquently about your vision and the brand. So that's great to hear that you're coming to Manchester. Because I think that store's opening July, August time.
Yeah,
So.
end of August, Jola. But again, because they want to make it unique, they are not rushing to it, which I'm happy. I'm going to do it to give him a training because again, training, I can send you the whole olfactive pyramid. You don't need me there. The training needs to make them feel and to be able to transmit. That's the only way.
Amazing. Well, look, the podcast is called Man in the Mirror, and I'm always really keen to find out about what you see when you look back at yourself in the mirror, Pierre. So, when you're doing your morning and evening routine, how do you feel about the man that looks back at you?
To be honest, the first thing I like to see when I look myself is the eyes. Always remember the eyes is always a reflection of your heart. And why I want to mention to all the audience is that we in our life should be the experimenter. We should be the laboratory of the experience, and we should be the result of that experience. Means take yourself and say, today, as a Pierre Ravan of Hayden, this is the version I am. How can I become the better version of myself? And to go back to your question, I can see that in my eyes. Let's say if one day I have a very nice meditation, and immediately after my meditation, I want to go and wash my face. The first thing I do, I pause. I breathe. I look deep in my own eyes, and I will say, are you clear today? Do you have your clarity or not?
Right.
Or
that's
the
an
reverse.
Interesting question.
Yeah. Or
are you clear? Yeah.
Are you
like
clear? Or do you have a clarity? Or you're starting your day? Or I mistakenly I didn't meditate and I open my email and I see an email that I really don't like. Immediately,
and then it puts you in a bad kind of funk.
My breathing change. Look, I'm gonna a little bit kind of sweat. I'm uncomfortable. And when I go and wash my face, I see immediately little bit my eyes puffing up, and my eyes are not very centered. You see, and those practice, guys, it's very simple, but you need to connect with yourself to be able to read it.
It's very true, and I think we all have that thing where we're being told to have less time on devices and phones, but we know it, don't we? That as soon you articulated it perfectly. As soon as you start, if you're scrolling at bedtime or first thing in the morning, and then you start reading emails or reading things that put you in a different state of mind, you set your day, and maybe you set your day in completely the wrong way. Or we don't need to. I mean, obviously there are exceptions, but I find myself looking at work emails when I wake up, and I don't need to do it. I don't know why because it's all on hand, isn't it? It's all there on the screen, and you might be looking at something else. Suddenly it can set the tone of the day, and maybe it's not the right way to set. So that idea of pausing and trying to get some kind of clarity is your word. I think it's
very important.
Really, really important.
And set your day, you said now, and keep that with you the whole day and carry it out. And as a practice to everybody, what I do, because you can imagine, as a co-founder of the brand, I'm selling it. And when you feel, or when you meet a lot of rejection, you get a negative energy. When you get a lot of people welcoming you, you get a joy. You see, all of this, both of them are not good. Even though excitement too much is not good, even a depression is not. To balance yourself, you said, you're in the moment. You recentered yourself. you breathe, you take it at a time. And I feel this is the future of humanity, guys. How we all first are connected to ourselves, and then to be able to connect with others. And you might sound this, people will expect, yeah, but wow, are you giving us some, this is a coaching tips, because in all our life, regardless whatever you do, you guys might be a perfume lover listening to this podcast, or you might be another perfume creator. Regardless what you do, if you are not centered, remember, no success is permanent and no failure is permanent.
I think it's possibly one of the most profound answers I've had to that question on the podcast. And maybe we all need to start our day with a little talk from Pierre. That was amazing. So finally, Pierre, I wonder, what are the things that bring you joy, perhaps outside of the work you do? You know, how do you switch off, and how do you kind of restore yourself? Are there hobbies that you have, or things that you enjoy doing outside of all these? You're a very busy man with all these different things that you have to do, but how do you switch off?
You know, your question is so profound. I can talk 2 hours about it. I just want to say to the listener something very important. This should be a message of this podcast to you all. Of course, you can research about the perfume, that thing, that's not difficult, but what it might touch you, even one of you guys who've been touched, that what I will say. People tend to differentiate spiritual life with the work life. They think, oh, no, for my spiritual life, some of them might go to the church, some of them might go to the mosque, some of them might go cycling. They separate that. Some of them put it on the side. They say, I'm young enough. I don't have a time. Whenever I will find a time, I will retire. And for your news, that time might never come. I want to tell you news. There is no separation of the spiritual life and your materialistic life. It's like a two-wing. Today I had the vision in my meditation, like an eagle with 2 wings, exactly on the same length, a spiritual and material. And the reason I'm saying they are not separated, because the true spirituality teaches you that whenever you empty of energy, you regain that energy by looking inside. Means that's why you have the inner and outer collection. Every time you drain and you tired of those email argument with your stock, with your warehouse, with your staff, with your partners, with the postman, with the whatever you want to call, all this conflict is like a layer, like an onion. You've been totally trapped by the layers of we call them the impressions, complexities. The only way of rid of them is to pause and go back to your heart and clear them up. And again, it's like a fresh air. You go down on a swimming pool. Means I urge you all, bring this spiritual aspect, which is not religious, is you and yourself. Be connected to yourself.
To meditation, bring that in all the time.
Yeah. Meditation can help as a practice, but you need to keep that meditative state. Look, I get angry, and every time I get angry, I can get out of centeredness. But I'm learning how to bring it back by pausing and posing. The minute you feel, you know what, I'm going to slash out at this guy, that 1 second that you pause, that 1 second can change the whole equation. And this is a practice, guys. You need to work on yourselves. And that's really how I originate.
Yeah, that's a really interesting reframing of the whole question, really, because rather than saying in my question, outside of the day-to-day work and the things that you have to do, are you allowed pockets of fun or, enjoyment or good things? But your response to that is to try and bring that kind of spiritual energy all the time and have that as a layer that's a part of your life and how you're looking at things.
Because it's located, it's part of our life. It's like, I want to tell you another thing regarding, how many times we have a life force in us. How many times happen that you sit and say, thank you. I am breathing today. I'm speaking to Pierre. I could wake up. I could eat.
Yeah.
Thank you, the life force.
Yeah.
Thank you to that life force. Forget about let's not talk about that life force, which the day he decided to leave, I'm just bone and flesh. And that is not about only the gratitude. People say, we do affirmation. All of this is very westernized, all this affirmation, which is good. But be conscious of it. Every morning, wake up and say, today, let's see, I accept what it comes, but I will deal with it successfully. Always positive suggestion. Your child go to school, never tell him, be careful. That's a negative suggestion. May you be well today. All of this is the work we do. When you sell a perfume, like today, before having our podcast, I did this affirmation. May I say things that may people who are in need to feel it. And as I said in the beginning, even if one person in your podcast said, you know what, wow,
I got
today
something
you
from
made my
that.
day.
Yeah.
I got something
Yeah.
out of it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, why we do all these podcasts and all? We are not doing
Right.
that. Your podcast is not to promote my brand. Your podcast is to help your listener to open the level of consciousness.
I
isn't
think
it?
so. I'm trying. My only proviso every time is to talk to interesting people like you and find out more about them and their experiences and their journey. I think obviously there's plenty of opportunity to talk to brand founders and to talk a bit about the products, but I love that we've had such a wide ranging conversation and found out about all the incredible things that you're doing. And certainly you've imparted some wisdom, and I've loved chatting to you, and I know the listeners will have taken a lot from it. So Pierre, thank you so much. I hope we'll get to see each other very soon. It's been a fascinating podcast. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. Always great to see you, and
thank you so much.
We'll reconnect very soon. Thank you, Pierre.
All the best.
Thank you, my friend.